Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. It's an exciting Thursday morning, the 3rd of March 2022. And the month of March is running quickly to a close. It's just about 61 days, that has been spent of our 365 days in the year. And quite a number of people would, be measuring how far they've come, what they've achieved for the year already, while some people will be counting the cost to say, how has Nigeria fared? That's what we do on the Bumper Breakfast every single morning that we come Mondays to Friday. We'll try to tell you how Nigeria has fared, how Nigeria is faring, and what can be better about Nigeria. Traffic situation in Lagos as we speak, the entire road from Bega all the way going inwards, Third Milan Bridge and 7 Up is blocked. Taking it to the other side as well. If you're going into Alausa and all that seems to be free, Agidingbi is free this morning. Hallelujah, hurrah. We are glad Agidingbi is finally free. But if you're coming from Bega as well and you're inwards to Ujudu, it's a nice all. That place is totally blocked. So you may want to, take a different direction rather than going back. Now, if you take a look at this picture stories that we have in the front page of the papers this morning, I just say that the Punch newspaper is where I want to begin from, and it talks about Nigeria. Invasion is the title. Nigeria, 140 others vote against Russia, Ukraine to get $5.2 billion lifeline. Embassy sends Nigeria volunteer fighters list to Ukraine, and Buhari approves $8.5 million for evacuation. Federal government weighs pre-departure test. Gender bills, no going back, says National Assembly. Women fume. Oshibajo, Sanwo-Olu, Oyetola, others eulogize Pastor E.A. Adeboye at 80. Police summon orderly carrying of VIP's food. Ex-envoy denies. Modular refineries can refine fuel due to price regulation. NNPC is talking. And Senate may pass revised budget next week. Ogun contractor kills girlfriend, writes wife, commits suicide. Nigerians suffering under reckless misrule of elites. Jega. You have federal government orders domestic airlines to reverse 60% FR hike. Reps to review recommend MDA's measure. OPEC raises Nigeria oil production quota. Brent hits $111 a barrel. An insecurity may scare voters in 2023. Can't want. You have, if ASU stops fighting, public varsities would die like primary schools. Or Sodeke, union president. Nigerian Tribune, international students dying by side of the road trying to flee Ukraine. That's a report. Buhari approves $8.5 million to evacuate 5,000 Nigerians from Ukraine. NEMA leads evacuation process as federal government deploys 3 aircraft to airlift 2,090. 650 from Hungary, 350 from Poland, 940 from Romania, 150 from Slovakia. Roman Empire ends at Chelsea. A club puts up for sale. Oh my God. Hayatuddin declares presidential bid, vows to tackle insecurity 2023. Right, over 200 terrorists killed in 4 days. Niger government. And is it Niger government? Yeah. OAU students dead. Adedoyin others to be arraigned today in Osogbo. Federal government to open bid on national carrier March 8, says government will own only 5% on investment. As a strike, students block Ibadan Akure Abuja Expressway. Afenifere Owaneze MBF tackle National Assembly over Constitution amendment. We're going to be talking about Owaneze in Igbo in a couple of minutes. My director can get that video ready. Anger over hiking airfares. FCCPC slams domestic airline operator, says coordination in price increase against the law, issues interim order. Right, still looking at stories. Rise against devilish alliance of exploiters in 2023. Jaga tells Nigerians next president should be a Christian from the south. Are we doing that again? The Guardian newspaper, where I want to go next. ASU strike, varsity education sinking, stakeholders warn. Strike will soon be truncated, says Ngige. Utomi ex-VCs, others warn on dangers of strike. While leaders call for truce, successive governments have failed in education development. strike lowering education standards, says ex-ACF chief. Senator Adeyemi asks government to come to middle ground. Petrol marketers insist on food deregulation as NNPC mulls fresh investment. Why I was sacked as Kano Emir, CBN governor by Sanusi. Right, FEC approves 3.5 billion for aviation equipment in Lagos, Abuja, Kano. All right, the Nation newspaper, police explain death of man, woman found inside vehicle on Lagos-Ibadan Road. Zoning crisis festers in APC. New committee to submit report Monday. Government kicks off process for Kyari's extradition to the U.S. Malami asked courts to okay the request. COP challenges 14-day detention order. The 3 counts in the America in the U.S. are as doors. You have count 1, conspiracy to commit wire fraud in violation of U.S. law. Penalty, maximum term of imprisonment is 20 years jail. Count 2, conspiracy to commit money laundering in violation U.S. law. Penalty, maximum term of imprisonment of 20 years jail. And count 3, aggravated identity theft and aiding and abetting. Penalty, maximum term of imprisonment of 2-year jail term. Suffering over petrol scarcity lingers. Queues at filling stations cause traffic gridlocks in cities. Panic buying, hoarding to blame. NNPC loading has started. Now the questions on the petrol crisis, very simple. What has happened to importers of toxic petrol? How long does it take to flush out 170.25 million liters of adulterated product from depots and tanks? Where is the 2 billion liter import promised by the NNPC? And where is compensation for those whose car engines were affected by the bad petrol? All right, Russia invasion of Ukraine. 150 Nigerians registered in Abuja to join Ukraine troops. Buhari okays $8.5 million to evacuate stranded 2,090. We have lost 2,000 civilians, 836,000 now refugees. Oyi student's death. Hotelier 6 others arrive in Osho to face trial. Police explain death of man, woman found inside vehicle on Lagos-Ibadan Road. Zoning crisis festers in APC. New committee to submit report on Monday. Those are stories that made the front page of the papers today. I take a very quick break. We'll return and we'll talk. First, where should the next president come from? Where should the next president come from? That's our first topic for today. We'll be back.
This is your radio. This is your radio.
Star FM 101.5 gives you the best of music, news, talk, entertainment, and sports like never before. We give you incisive news every hour, quality music, and sports all day round. Listen to the most entertaining, creative morning show on radio as Star FM gives you top newspaper review, headlines about politics, business, crime, events, and entertainment stories between 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. daily. Our midday show gives you classic, up-tempo, and contemporary urban music to start your day and get you energized. Between 10 to 12 noon daily, we serve it fresh. Now, take your lunch with us on Lunch Hour Show between 12 noon and 2 p.m. as we pack you with good mix of music loaded with interactive live chart, comedy, game shows, and current events. Our word of sports on Star FM comes on daily at the 5 o'clock hour, 6 o'clock hour, and 10 o'clock hour. Daily on Star. Our evening belt showcase a mix of urban music, oldies laced with big jokes, talent hunt shows, and relationships. You don't want to miss is the PM Crew. And round up your day with us on Body and Soul, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Daily with the very best of rhythm and blues, cool music to take you to Wonderland. Join us daily as we give you the very best of music, news, sports, talk, and all-round entertainment. Star FM 101.5, entertaining you all the time. Star FM, your favorite radio station. Star FM on DSTV 869.
Welcome, Simi. Welcome to Band. And welcome back, Obia Sika. All right, the judges of Nigerian Idol Season 7 are ready. The stage is set. And now it's time for you to impress.
Nigerian Idol Season 7, showing every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Africa Magic Showcase, Urban and Family. Proudly sponsored by Biggie Drinks, Nigeria's favorite, and Binance. Exchange the world.
Do you have continuity or association plan for your business?
Has anyone shared the concept of sustainability with you?
What about the need to protect the rights of minority shareholders?
What are those ingredients germane to having effective meetings?
For these and many more, tune into Corporate Governance Platform every Thursday on MITV, your darling station, on DSTV 255 and UHF 43 at 4:30 p.m.
Corporate Governance Platform is your best medium for informative and educative strategies for the practice of the corporate governance profession.
Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, ICSAN, the hub of governance professionals.
Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. Our guest this morning, Mr. Akinfatuke, is right here with us to join the conversation. He's a public affairs analyst and, of course, an elder statesman and a regular on conversations across the country on various television stations and radio stations. Good morning, Mr. Fatuke. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much, Tobisi. I'm doing fine.
You're not too happy, but...
By way of attitude, yes, because I believe things could have been done better. Let me say good morning to Nigerians. How is the suffering at your end? I witnessed Tony backed into the studios today, and I shook my head.
You had to shake your head because it was all about buying fuel and running the altar scatter to look for fuel.
Unfortunately, we've seen this movie before, still going on, and we are still going to see much more daring ones. So better
than we're currently watching.
Fasten our seatbelts.
All right, so we're talking first of all about the 2023 presidency, and quite a lot of things are happening around. Let's begin by talking about the story that made the front page of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Afenifere Ohaneze Ndigbo, the MBF, the Middle Belt Forum, tackled the National Assembly over the Constitution Amendment, and everybody is talking right now about the Constitution Amendment all over the country. 2023 elections are coming quite fast. INEC has released its, schedule for that election. February and March, the elections will be done. However, we still have political parties that have not yet gotten their acts together. We have citizens who seem also to be confused. Everybody is thinking there's fuel scarcity, there is this. And I dare say some people are whispering in the corners, can we postpone the elections?
I like to say that the portents are not looking very bright, even though we say to one another we should be very hopeful. And realism staring all of us in the face is indicative of the fact that we have not, by all intents and purposes, decided to embrace democracy. Democracy has not been working for us. We are struggling, we are falling. And if after 20 years in the new dispensation, we are where we are at, in other words, arguing about who should be, how should be, trying to resolve the leadership question without getting the vehicle in proper fit and shape. And so you are right that INEC, after a lot, have put a vehicle out there for us to ride in. Fortunately, unfortunately, that vehicle that was provided by the rulers coming a little bit too little, a little bit too late, but at least a move in the right direction that we eventually got Mr. President to grudgingly sign the electoral amendment bill.
But are you aware that yesterday you already demanded for a review?
Oh yes. Well,
an amendment.
I knew as at February 25 when he was signing, he already voiced that out. And it's not the first time, it's not the second time. Same goes with our PIA. After millions of years of struggling
to get it,
and then we eventually now stalled it, tells me clearly as a developmental economist that we are just not ready. Both those who are ruling us and those who are being ruled, most unfortunately. The timetable is out. And Tommy said, I'm going to throw something at you, just for you to chew, and by inference to Nigerians. Let's assume that timetable that you are referring to came out 2 years ago. Assume it came out 2 years ago. I can tell you
the amount of preparation that would have gone into this election.
No, I'm telling you, we'll still be in the same quagmire that we are in today. Let's
assume nothing would have been done differently.
If it had come out
2 years ago.
2 years ago, we would have learned nothing and forgotten nothing, because our attitude is just not right. I'm saying, in effect, that we are just not primed for democracy. Yeah, people can look at the sociologists, can say, yeah, we had enough time, then we can start to practice. By converse, if this election timetable comes out 1 week to the election, and the attitude is right, and the internal democracy mindset and the proper restructuring is in place, we'll still have a very good election. So in other words, I'm saying we are not primed, we are not ready, we are not disciplined, and a lot of in-between goes into it. We have a situation of Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. Ali Baba is the head of the thieves, but there are 40 others who are all jostling for relevance. And to that extent, it tells you that a lot, should I say it? I should say it, yeah. A lot of blood, a lot of anguish, a lot of sorrows will continue to dovetail, will continue to accompany, will continue to precede our preparations for 2023. If it happens. I hope it happens. I join the throng of people who are saying, yes, it should happen. But what I see in the firmament is a situation that between now and then, so much will be lost, so much may be lost unless we turn ourselves into doing what is right. Now, don't forget, we have an electoral amendment bill that is still being contended to by the two major political parties. Some like, some don't like, some say yes, it favors us, some say it does not favor us. And then we are now having the constitutional amendments now coming, ought to have come
way before.
And I say, well, even if it came way before,
we still wouldn't have been prepared.
The people that I think I know are just not coming to the table with a very good mind. So what this tells me is that we have a vehicle. So if you have a vehicle, no, you never had a vehicle, and then you now have a vehicle that's going to take you to your destination.
Yeah.
But you don't have an extra tire.
Yeah.
Secondly, the pilot is not properly trained, so rather than face from here, I think we're in the north of Lagos, going towards Ibadan, you are facing the Atlantic Ocean, and you still have a field. And I believe that you are going to get there. You may have a lot of things coming, unless you have a bay. You know what a bay is?
Of course I do. I do. Let me talk a little bit about cleaning up our houses. Professor Mahmood Jega, did mention on the front page of one of the papers this morning, saying that Nigerians are suffering under reckless misrule of elites. I would have said, should we then be ruled by non-elites? Maybe that would make the situation better, but that was just a joke. Now let's talk about cleaning up our houses, and I want to look at the Ohanaeze Ndigbo themselves. Now, the Ohanaeze Ndigbo in Lagos, the chief, Solomon Ogbonna, has silenced opposition voices and urged Dr. Obiozor's national body not to fall for deceit. Now, the president of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Lagos has again restated his position as the recognized president of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Lagos, while warning the media and the national body in Enugu Eagles in Lagos and other good people of Lagos State to disregard those who claim to be leaders of the faction of a social-cultural organization. He affirmed this position at a press conference which held in the Surulere Secretariat of the body. He said that the Ohanaeze Ndigbo National Headquarters, domiciled in Enugu, has no right to conduct elections for any chapter that is in the diaspora. The diaspora associations are those who are outside the 7 Igbo-speaking states of Nigeria. Recalling how he got into office in 2018, the president of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Lagos, Chief Solomon Ogbonna Agwene, said he was elected on the 16th of June 2018 and there were serious problems before the election. And the national headquarters in Enugu came to nullify the election and conducted another one that brought him into power. But since then, it has been different factions of this same group, registered and unregistered. In fact, they called his own a faction and took him to court. They've been in court till date and they're still rounding up their tenure. Again, the national headquarters in Enugu wants to intrude to conduct the elections, and they said no, because that is what brought them to the problem they cannot solve, and they have been in court. Enugu is so interested in what they will make in Lagos by selling forms, bringing another president to impose upon us, and despite all of that he had done in the Lagos chapter for 20 years, they said they cannot locate Ohanaeze at any address. He's saying the members, except you can't see the members except at a meeting venue that will be announced because they do not have a specific place. Now, he therefore added that the Constitution says about 4-year tenure, but there is a clause that gives the elders a say. It's been in court all through, so the elders have asked for 2 more years that will ensure that they put Ohanaeze in order and then find another person who will carry it to greater heights. Let's quickly listen to him, and then we're back here still talking about the same topic.
There. So you must find 1 or 2 disgruntled elements among any 12, and that is what we are experiencing. Ohanaeze Lagos is intact and moving, and we have not even written to Enugu to invite them that the tenure is finished. No, the tenure is still working, going ahead, because our tenure will expire by June 16th. What is all this noise about? Because of some disgruntled elements in our mix. And we cannot give them that opportunity to continue to destroy the structure that has been laid down by Chief Solomon Ogbonna, a very good structure, who has bridged the gap between Ndigbo and the landlords, who has brought the government closer to the people, Ndigbo in particular. We have been enjoying this administration through his effort, and some people are not happy. Then going to some people who had a press conference yesterday, I am telling you automatically, categorically, that these people are disgruntled elements who has nothing to offer to Ndigbo positively. Check their lineage. Check them. You all know them. You know the antecedents. You know what they stand for. This is what the elders and Ndigbo, who is who, are asking for. Yesterday we held meeting with over 157 something members attended. We have over 150 people that attended yesterday. Call it emergency meeting in Kalapa Hall, and they were all singing in one voice that they must give me more time to choose who will carry Ohanaeze, because what they were doing in Ohanaeze for the past 20 years, I saw.
You know, it's quite interesting, Mr. Fatunke, that we are all looking at an organized society ahead of the 2023 general elections. I'm wondering, back talking about this presidential election again. Jega says mismanagement, misrule of the elite is what is causing the suffering suffered by Nigerians. The president of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Lagos has just accused the national body of wanting to come and conduct elections in the state at the state level, giving them the opportunity to sell forms, basically alleging that they want to make money through the forms. Now, this is the same body that is so-called demanding for the emancipation of the Igbos, so-called demanding that there must be an Igbo president in 2023. So with all of this kind of rancor happening all over town, is it inspiring confidence in any way? Do you think that truly the elite are not the problem?
For me, I think the complicit middle, or what we call the elites, are not just the problem. They are the alpha and the omega of the whole quagmire that we see. Of course, it's the elites that will decide who goes in, who takes what, by way of what they say, what they do, what they refuse, and what they reject under the rule of law. I'm miffed to begin to see situations that are throwing themselves out. Well, like I said in my opener, we are just not ready for true participatory democracy. We just not ready because our attitudes are just not in now. The example that you have just given, or what you have just painted, so are we in there for the sake of power and ego and money? Or are we going in there to serve? To serve. You know, life itself is not measured by wine taking. Always sometimes by wine pour forth for the sake of self and for the sake of immediate future. So to my mind, I am so convinced that the elite continues. The midfield, like in a football game, the midfield holds the capacity to know when to attack, to know when to defend, to, you know, with the right strategies. And if that area is leaking, as we see, is leaking, I'm afraid, religiously, even within the professions themselves, some are throwing themselves out there to be technocrats, and that the politicians must not continue to rule the waves. But the large majority, again, with due respect now, with due respect, many in the elites believe they have education. They've gone to school. But I dare say there's a wide gap in emotional intelligence, what you describe as real education that we see. We don't see the character coming to fore. So that will be my submission.
Let's talk about ASU strike. I remember that we have had this conversation time and time again, and ASU has decided to go on strike. Now the students have also taken themselves, seriously, and said they will block the expressway. So yes, on the 1st of March, the 2nd, and now the 3rd, students have continued to block major highways across the country, from the Akure, Abuja, Lagos, Ibadan, expressway. Students have continued to block the road. What is the problem? They said they will continue to block the expressway until the federal government and ASU stop this impasse between them. Everybody must understand that it is not about being comfortable, as it were. It is about getting things right. But then every newspaper this morning has the story of the ASU strike, and varsity's education in Nigeria seems to be sinking. Stakeholders are warning. Ex-VCs, current VCs, Patutomi, Alorewa leaders, successive government, everybody is saying ASU stop going on strike. ASU says, yes, we're using the strike to achieve a lot. But then, who is suffering the most? The students. Is this the way forward, really? Must we get to a point where the federal government just gives ASU what they definitely demand for, just to have education move on? Because I know then they will come up with another demand.
Right said, Toby C, and let's pick it from what you just prescribed. Let federal government give ASU what they want. The federal government, okay, well, it's contentious. Does the federal government have anything to give out?
I'm wondering. I thought we all knew that.
Given the realities on the ground.
But that's what I thought we all knew that.
Okay, so if you are asking me to give you something that
I don't have,
that I do not have, so you could now then say, okay, if you say you do not have, can I see some character on your part that there is no food in the house, but you should not continue to look rotund. You should not continue to look shine and come back and tell me that you got
no food in the house
and nothing to be able to give me. So I think that more is what we should be contending. But whether ASU, whether the federal government, whether NASU, and whether NANU and
or SANU,
everybody is now going
or the news
going on strike is an indicator, in a way of speaking, that the state is failed. So it's it's not to me ASU versus federal government versus ASU. The center cannot hold, and anarchy has come to stop the land. Now, what I know should happen, again, I go back to that word that people use sparingly and maybe dramatically. We need to restructure Nigeria. We look at Nigeria again. We need to have serious discussions about planning, population control, census, our capacity to grow beyond our monoproduct, which is oil, to diversify. All that, including our electoral reforms, our constitutional reforms, all pulling at the seams, is indicative of the fact that the vehicle, like that vehicle I mentioned, not only is it not having an extra tire, and that should anything happen, you are going to be stranded, but that the pilot or the driver is facing the wrong navigation, is going somewhere else, and we are taking the cool aid, just happy. We are happy and smiling to our deaths, could not therefore continue. Now, in the specific issues surrounding ASU.
Yes. Especially the issue of the strike. I mean, we've done this again and again
we are
and
talking
again
about
and again.
ASU. Of course, we should also be talking about the medical. Virtually everybody is thinking of going
On strike.
On strike. That, therefore, is a time to now then say, hey, what is happening here? Are we running a government? Are we running the seats? I think we are. Are we having the right people to do the right conversation? I don't think we are.
No.
Are we leaving the low-hanging fruits? And there are many of these low-hanging fruits around. When President Muhammadu Buhari came on, one of the things that he did for his own understanding and reason is to put the report of the conference, constitutional conference that came in. I don't think he should have done that. I think we can pull them out and decide that we need to go on a round table discussion and take
Mr.
a decision.
Fatuke, we have been doing this
to
round table discussion for so long a time, and I just found out that every other sector of the economy is trying hard to make things work. Basically, the government is not giving anybody anything. Are they giving you anything, as it were?
Well, we've been having the round table discussions in bits and pieces. I am talking about real discussion surrounding the template that we have been using to rule Nigeria. That template will not get us to any promised land. We must all come together on a round table
And just have conversations.
Have
real conversations.
Hard conversations. Come without set minds and think about the future of Nigeria. The discussions we have been having, we've been having it here and there. Yes, I agree, I disagree. We need to have a very strong, purposeful leader, one that is going to be bound by equity, fairness, and who has the knowledge of modern statecraft to now then say, this cannot continue. And so if it is that we cannot fuse together, then let's have a loose confederation. Let's have a way of discussing and looking at the fact that this wide potential that we have in Nigeria is dwindling, is falling. Look at education. Nigerians leave the shores of Nigeria and they are making and breaking the ceilings elsewhere. But when they get back here, babas. Our medical doctors
I hope we're not going to end up having conversations like the one Ukraine and Russia has been having, back and forth, no resolutions.
Well,
I hope we're not going to be having such
day,
conversations.
I like to say that Ukraine, Russia, bad as it is, we still have to have
a conversation,
a round table discussion, and allow ego to think. Our educational sector, you said, is backward.
No, they didn't say it's backward. It's sinking.
Okay, it's saying well, it's, where it's sinking is
sinking.
Backward. I would say that it's been totally destroyed, horribly, totally destroyed, and there is no hope and faith until we have a very strong, purposeful leader, a non-selfish mid-class, all coming together, looking at this democracy that we keep on calling democracy, and telling ourselves the truth that we have floundered, we have failed, and then we can now begin to now get out of the abyss.
Mr. Fatuke,
we are gone back into the prehistoric times.
The students are threatening that what they will do if this strike is not nipped in the bud is going to be worse than what we experienced and saw during the #EndSARS protests. And don't forget that majority of the students were also part of that system. They were a huge part of that strike. I mean, and I think they have a right to protest this.
Absolutely.
If you go to the university, I went to the university, I got admission in 1 year, I resumed the year after. I graduated in 1 year, I graduated in 1 year, dropped my pen, finished my project in 1 year, and then I didn't do my convocation ceremony until a year after.
Thomas,
you go on useless strikes that have absolutely no bearing on anything.
They have a right to protest, and nobody can take that from them.
The job market doesn't even accept them any longer because they're spending too long in school.
I like to throw a caveat though. Anybody, you have a right to go and jump inside the lagoon. You have a right to go and jump inside the well. Please don't do. Can we have a conversation? I don't want to have a conversation with you. I am frustrated. Yes.
They tried having a conversation with the Minister of Education. It worked out on them.
Right to think that way. But is that the ultimate solution? Now, if NANS now says they are going to make life ungovernable, presumes that money is staying somewhere and they can just go into the treasury
and give it to them
and give it to them, I am not sure it works.
No, but they are not saying give ASU the money they're asking for. They're saying you guys are the adults here, you guys are the ones having your issues. Can you resolve this? And let us go back to school. And they tried to have a conversation with the federal government. They sat down with the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu.
I know.
And it worked out on them.
I am aware. But I am saying 3 wrongs will never make it right.
But they are students. They are the youths. They do not listen.
They must listen. They've got to listen. They must be pragmatic. I agree to the pragmatism.
If they are not...
But there has to be a strategy to this. I am not seeing that as a strategy. Yes, I agree. The minister worked out on them, but ugly. Okay, so the minister worked out on you, and then the next thing that you are going to now then do is go out there, see some of the things that we did with EndSARS, very positive, quite a lot other negatives, other unintended consequences. Begin to loot. That, in my mind, cannot be the solution. I am saying, I agree with you, youths. I am much more convinced that something needs to be done. But Nance, can we begin to look back a little bit and strategize much more effectively? Even within us youths, I am not aware that we have one voice. And if experience that I know I have, because I also went to university, watch it. Very soon, you will get another discordant voice coming from a part of the country and say, well, I'm not part of you. So you need to be very, very careful and strategic. Secondly, you've got to have vision beyond all what we are saying. This is what we are going to do. This is how we are going to do it. This is how we are going to mobilize. This is how we are going to make sure that all youths begin to look at the right direction, embrace technology, looking at our elections and deciding with the kind of population that we have, even in the rough vehicle that we seem to be riding, and say with our population, youths are looter. We must continually go for what is good and best. No sooner than later. I've seen it, like I said, I've seen this script acted before. And that's the reason why, as a realist, I'm just telling you that just like Labour Congress or some other pressure group, just drop a little bit of a tingler and people will go into different directions. The reason being that you are not strategic. I have also seen, I'm not saying what I'm saying to dampen the spirit of the youths, but I'm also saying that what we begin to see in the center, we begin to see it with the student union. I hope it, for the life of me, it's not true. I saw an SUG, student union leader with in a vehicle with people surrounding him, something similar to what governors and the federal do. And I see situations where at the end of the day, it's the same, say Alutua, are we sure that we have cleansed our stable? Are you sure that the money that we know is being wasted, is being stolen? I agree. The panacea to that is not to now just pull a gun and put it into the hands of unemployed, angry youths who will now pounce on you yourselves. That cannot be intelligent way of looking at it. I expect people to tell me that I'm not wearing their shoes.
Yeah.
And that will be most unfortunate because I also have children
who go to school.
Not only going to school, who come out of school and who are looking for their means of livelihood. I have seen children who have said to me, Daddy, I have gone to school, but a dropout, a tout, a transport union person is deciding who is going to rule me. And I say, yes, that is true. That is a fact. Can we find a way around making sure that we do that? It's not going to be by staying in your room and watching BP Niger and voting, and then on the day of election,
and then everybody tries to be a part.
Do you have your
of
PVC?
the
And what you tell me is that when the elections don't count, whether they count or they don't count, do your own bit. I sympathize with the youths. And I say to the complicit middle and those who are ruling us that if we do not listen to what they are saying and temper what they are saying with good wisdom, with good capacity and a good character to show that we can lead them by example, we are riding the back of the tiger and all of us are going to end up in it. So to the youths, I say, yes, we've had you. Let's be much more strategic. Education is not about any gra-gra, chipsa, just shout, and all that. We've seen it before. At the end of the day, those who are at the helm of those who are making all the noise will be given some kind of appointment, and then you leave the rest like sheep without a shepherd. We must be strategic about it. We must continually dialogue. I am aware to and let's put this straight. What the minister did was just not the best. The conversation that went, with the student union president could have been better put. Yeah. I dare say, and therefore 2 wrongs cannot make it right.
Yeah.
I understood that the minister came back later. I thought, well, the minister or some people have prevailed that she should come back later. And so we must continue
to have this dialogue.
The conversation.
I want to take a quick break. It's just an in and out, and then we'll be back because the House, let me just say the National Assembly, rejected all of the gender bills. And women have decided to make it a joke and make it a serious business. Some are sitting in front of the National Assembly, some are lying down on the ground, sleeping there until these lawmakers change their mind. While some have simply said, you fail to give us that, we also will shut down the other one. We'll take a break and come back to talk about this in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Bumper Breakfast. Yesterday I came across a post. Somebody did an analysis of what it was that was done with the Constitutional Amendment and all of the things that was rejected. So I'll just go through that. The person says, Nigerian men, you are the cause of this country's problem. We, the Nigerian women, have decided to go on strike in the Hazard room. The most political shocking news of the year for me, she said, is on the first day of the International Women's Month, Nigeria's 9th National Assembly of about 95.9% men voted that day to declare decline citizenship to foreign-born husband of a Nigerian woman. 2, a Nigerian man's wife, a Nigerian man's foreign-born wife get automatic citizenship. But the other way, a Nigerian woman's foreign-born husband gets no citizenship. Nigerians in diaspora, no right to vote. They deny women the ability to take the indigenship of their husband's state after 5 years of being together. Deny 35% appointed positions for women. Deny women 35% affirmative action in party administration and leadership. Reject specific seats for the women in the National Assembly. Basically reject diaspora voting. I'm just wondering, what else do you want us to do now? Abba. We already have a National Assembly that has about 95.9% men. Barely 4.1% women. I mean, you look at the entire size of the National Assembly, over 300 people paid humongous amounts of money. And this many people subjugate women. This is what it means to be subjugated. Not just in the home, but in public glare. Everybody has approved affirmative action all over the world.
Toby, thank you very much for those comments.
Mr. Vasco, let me remind you of what you said last week. The women, you said, dusted you guys in class. Women, you say, are the men scared of women doing better?
The women are flying planes. The women are doing, if not better than men, but at least at equal opportunities. I have seen situations where, you know, this bias that a woman cannot be sent to school when men are to be sent to school. And I saw a woman, a professional colleague of mine, her name is Ronke Adeagbo. She didn't make any squabble. And this is where I need us to learn something. She went, worked so extra hard, she got so fantastic results, she took her results to her father. Daddy, you didn't think you should have placed me on equal pedestal. Here
is my result.
And the dad started weeping. It's not that I don't think you'll be able to make it, but you know,
you're going to end up in a man's kitchen.
There is nothing like, you know, she went to the UK, Today, she's one of the very few women of color that has shattered all the glass ceilings. And one of the first things she did, no discrimination, men and women, from Africa, from my country, Nigeria, come on. She took the clip, went back to the dad, and said, yes, I know I have siblings. I have people. How many of them have been able to do things for fellow men like I've done? Of course, naturally, the dad would now do more whipping. I am using that as an example to tell you that character, or what you call emotional intelligence, goes beyond all this that we do, men. But you are right. We saw ourselves to this point. The men that are in the National Assembly, either states or at the federal, were voted
into power
by women.
Yes. Campaigned for by women.
I am making a categorical statement that the system and the culture has been highly skewed against women. And you know the losers? The men. Okay, let me put it this way. Talk is cheap. If I were to be in the National Assembly, would I have voted against all these affirmative actions?
Just give 35%. I mean,
listen, I will go contrary and make sure that I vote. The only one that I will agree to, just one amongst them, is the issue surrounding the fact that women, I think we are talking about women should be segregated and be given a special status in our politics.
No. I do not agree to that.
I will not agree to that because
just make it fair.
And I will just prove it. I'll go pick 2-3 ladies.
Yes.
And they are still alive professionally. Like I told you, they dusted us men. They shook us academically.
They used to people to sweep the ground.
And I'll bring them and I'll say, while they were marking the scripts, did they segregate you to give you the kind of marks
that you got?
You don't do the examinations and stuff like that, but you got it by merit. Women, by merit, should take what should rightly belong to them. If we get our politics very right, and we do one man, one vote. The second, which is maybe on a lighter side, at that National Assembly, Helen talked about the fact that God give us men a time like this demand. Some crowds, men who will be able to look at demagogues and call it exactly what it is. Men who will use character to judge the way things are going. And I'm going to mention one of our legislators in the House of Representatives. Came into the National Assembly and brought about 15 or 12 or 15 women. Was allowed to come in there.
He came to display his family.
And was now saying that his aim is that he has about 20 or 25 or whatever number of children, and that before the end of the year,
he's going to have more.
And the women followed him there, and they were all cheering. What is happening basically is that there is no common sense, which is one of the ingredients of emotional intelligence. That if you continually deny a whole segment of our vibrant youthful population, a lot of women are breadwinners in the urban areas. You know that. They send their children to school, they send the men are laid back. Now, what if you decide that you are going to continue to do that? You know what you are asking for? You are asking for trouble. Just like if you deny your youths, we just talked about it now. I think we have swept with the left hand an opportunity to us to make sure that women are supposed to be side by side with us, give them the equal rights, give them the equal opportunity. I also mentioned on national television yesterday, and callers were not happy that I said that the issue of diaspora voting should come on. I said, we that are here, we are not even sure that we are doing it. They will manipulate.
You'll be shocked. The people in the diaspora want to vote.
I said, that is not the problem of the people in diaspora. Let's get our acts together.
Yes.
Somebody actually said that electronic voting, electronic collation is not going to be possible because in some areas we don't have coverage and stuff like that. Whose fault is that? It is that we must find a way
to include them.
Not just to include them, and if you're not going to include them, there are other ways. I, with a lot of pride, at a time when we were talking about including women on the board of Mobil Oil Nigeria PLC, and it was like it was not going to be possible. And I said, even if you say it's not possible, but I'll try. After I try and I fail, then I come back and fail, because everybody says we'll be trying to do it. I kept at it. It was not easy. I was insulted. Even unfortunately, the woman I wanted to help, because it's not possible for me to just tell her this is what I'm trying to do. And I said, look, Mr. Man, why are you calling me? And
why are you disturbing me?
Why are you disturbing me? I said, madam, it's something that I don't have a mandate to be able to tell you, but we are looking for somebody like you and stuff like that. She thought I was 419, and she banged the phone on me. Did I allow that to
tell you?
I understood the emotional intelligence was, which is what I was trying to tell you about Nance. I didn't take it as an offense. I said she did not know. I kept at it until I got somebody to help me tell her that this is who I am. Who said, really? I get a lot of phone calls. I thought it was 419. I said it's not 419. She eventually landed that position. When she landed that position, the joy, just like joy of a teacher or joy of a mother after 9 months.
Adela, and you've delivered a baby.
I got a smile on my cheek when she walked in majestically. I said, who is this Mr. Akin Fatunke? She walked in and said, yes, I might have sounded disruptive and insultive. I'm sorry. But for you, I will not get this. That was my joy. And that is the way I expect our men, who should really be men. And then, the women now says that they are going to go to the other room,
So they don't even need to go to the other room. See, I have a solution to all of this. Mr. Vasuke, thank you so much. I have a solution. Women, you dance. If your mother is a politician and she's one of the dancers, lock her in the house on the day of campaign. She's not dancing. Every mother, don't dance. Every mother, don't go out for campaign. Everybody, sit at home. Let the men who cannot give us positions, who will not create the opportunity, who cannot allow women to be more than 35% in the National Assembly, let them campaign for themselves and let them vote for themselves. If that will happen, then they will not. Because I don't understand how you go, you give rice. Do you give the rice and gari to chicken and goats? You give it to human beings. You give it to the women.
I am impressed though, that the women are protesting.
Yes.
There's a learning.
It is an anomaly.
Without necessarily,
we have a one-sided, lopsided.
And I can tell you,
National Assembly, everybody's wearing cap.
And I can tell you, people are listening. The international community is listening.
No, Mr. Fatuke, our patriarchal society is so annoying. You go to the National Assembly and you watch the videos and you see caps of different types.
Our women.
Where is the glamour?
Your time.
Where are the brilliant women?
You might have been denied just yesterday. The doors are going to be open for you. Let's begin the sensitization. I'd also like to say, since I'm a man, the last time I checked, I think I'm
you are a he for she, Mr. Fatuke, you don't count. You're a he for she.
I'd like to tell our women that there are men with difference.
Yes.
I belong to the class.
Our governor, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is one of them.
Difference. We are behind you. We are going to back you. We are not going to sit down. We are going to join you. We are going to make sure that the emancipation of Nigerian women is total and complete by the special grace of God. Watch out, it's going to happen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Akifatuke, for joining us on the Bumper Breakfast this morning. It's where we draw the curtain. Thank you so much to the Governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. If or she, a father, a husband, a friend of the women, and one man who recognizes talent in women and utilizes it to the fullest. Please, we need replicas of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the ends of affair everywhere in the country. Have a beautiful day, people. I'll see you again tomorrow morning.